Right, welcome back, and back to our topic where a number of prior files were put between the president during his meetings with a number of world leaders, including, or the first of which was his summit talks with French President Macron. Let me here welcome again our guest, Mr. Tarek Refaat, journalist at MENA, or the Middle East News Agency. Again, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
If I may start with the outcome of this visit, because a number of regional and international issues were raised during this summit, and it brought up a kind of message. Your reading to that?
Actually, we were very happy to see President Sisi, along with helping Sudan during the International Conference for Sudan in Paris, which was held. We were very happy to see President Sisi attending economic conferences for Sudan, which would help Sudan cut out its debt from the IMF, from France, so many donors.
Actually, if President Sisi or the leader of Egypt did not attend, or was not upon the first to attend such a summit for Sudan, who would you think would have attended?
No, he had, of course, a leading role. We all know the President Sisi's leading role in the Arab world, in the African world, and on the regional level.
Yes, indeed.
Basically, the conference, France cancelled $5 billion of debt, which was owed to Sudan, and France is also committed to bridging a loan, $1.5 billion for Sudan, to help it pay its dues to the IMF. Because actually Sudan had a very huge debt to the international institutions, accounts to $60 billion.
Indeed.
So this conference is very important because we are having now a transitional period in Sudan, and if we want this transitional period to succeed, we have to help Sudan pay off its debt and grow its economy, to provide more jobs and come up to the inspirations of young people who are waiting so much from the Sudanese transitional government.
Actually, this is the Transitional Council, Sovereign Council, where it is passing through a very critical stage that is passing by Sudan. And hence it was so important for such a conference to take place. When we are speaking about Sudan's debt, we have also to speak about the circumstances that are passing by this council, and which is putting Sudan in jeopardy. So how do you view the scene in Sudan? And I'm not just speaking about its economic debts, but rather also from all aspects. I mean, the political, the strategic, the challenges that are facing Sudan at this upcoming stage. Please.
Actually, Sudan, of course, any transitional period is very difficult for any country or for every country. But Sudan has people who love their country, and we can see Prime Minister and Al-Burhan, General Al-Burhan, we can see very honorable people who love their country, and they are moving so well.
I'm speaking about the challenges that are facing Sudan at this very particular time in their transitional period. Please.
Which kind of challenges do you mean? Political challenges?
I said, yes, indeed. The political, the strategic, the overall challenges. We've already wrote about the economic issues, so we're speaking now about the political and the strategic issues. So what are exactly those challenges as you see them?
I don't really see much challenges apart from because you build first the country economically. You are strengthening the army, to protect the country. And I see Sudanese government is moving in the right direction. Not really that it's having so much challenges. I'm seeing it
for the borders, the problems in the borders between Sudan and Ethiopia is not a challenge?
It's a challenge, of course. But you are strengthening the army.
We already are speaking about the situation inside Sudan, which was during Omar al-Bashir about to be divided into several regions, the Darfur and the South, and all these. So how do you view that, and how will that reflect? What is demanded from the Sudanese Transitional Council?
They are demanded to make the country stand again on its own, with the help of countries like Egypt, like France, like other regional powers. When we speak about the border dispute, the Fashaka dispute.
The Fashaka.
Yeah, the Fashaka dispute. It's since 1995, bordering Ethiopia sent, or maybe some troops taking the Fashaka region, because it's one of the most fertile lands in this area. Because actually the Blue Nile is surrounded by hills, so they cannot really use the Blue Nile. They want to do some farming in Sudan. And also, they are building the Jerd, and they are saying that the Egypt and Sudan water shares are from the colonial era. Actually, in 1902, there was the Anglo-Ethiopian agreement, and all these points were demarked. The borders were demarked in the Anglo-Ethiopian.
You're speaking here about the 1929 and the 1959 agreement, both agreements that spoke about the shares and rights of the river.
And now the Sudanese army managed to liberate 95% of this region, of the Fashaka region, and they declared a couple of weeks ago that they will not go back because this is their land. And the Sudanese farmers have suffered since 1995. They have been suffering from some troops coming in, and we saw some killing even a couple of months ago. So this is one of the challenges that Sudan is facing right now. And Egypt is doing military drills with Sudan, protectors of the Nile, and it was preceded by Eagles of the Nile 1 and 2, to help strengthen the Sudanese army, because Egypt and Sudan were one country for 136 years.
Definitely they are brotherly countries, and there is no doubt about that. They have historical, more than even what the 161 they were, they are, and they will always be. When we get back to what we were speaking, and there were a number of meetings the President held in Sudan. Upon his arrival, the President was so keen to meet with the head of the Sudanese Sovereign Transitional Council, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. How did you view that meeting? How did you view what were the issues that were brought up in such a meeting?
I see that both Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, they have a magnificent relationship. We've seen many visits of al-Burhan in Egypt and President Sisi in Sudan, and that's what we expect from the two brotherly countries, that they always stand beside each other. I saw that President Sisi attended a conference with the African leaders, especially with al-Burhan, to speak about the post-pandemic, the economy of the post-pandemic, about the transitional period, about how to build up investments and financing for Sudan, and how to help Sudan overcome its transitional period.
Another important meeting was the meeting of President Sisi with the French President Emmanuel Macron. And a number of files were raised, not just the African one, not just the support for Sudan, but also a number of files. What were the agenda of the talks? How do you view the files that were raised?
It was a very significant meeting between President Sisi and President Macron, and we somehow feel, or everybody can feel it, that there is a very good relationship between the two presidents. And when it comes to Africa, about this conference in Paris, they spoke about so many files, not only Sudan, but about the Gaza ceasefire, the Egyptian role in the Gaza ceasefire. They spoke about the transitional government in Libya, and so many other files. So it was a very important meeting between the two leaders.
One of the issues also the President was keen to speak about was the issue of the Jed, with the Ethiopian dam, with the French President, where he is seeking, or the President has been calling for mediation, particularly from big powers and countries concerned, including the United Nations, the EU, of course, the US, and along with the African Union. How do you view the talks that went in this regard?
Actually, President Sisi said it before that Egypt's water shares is a matter of life and death, because Egypt...
It's an existential matter.
Yes.
Yes.
Egypt depends 90% on the Nile waters for its drinking, for its irrigation, for its agriculture. And we saw that President Sisi made the declaration of principles with Abiy Ahmed in 2015, and President Sisi said that Egypt does not have any problem.
In 2015, it was with Meles Zenawi.
Meles Zenawi, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
And the Sudanese leadership at
yes,
them.
Yes, very right. With Omar al-Bashir and Meles Zenawi. And President Sisi said that Egypt does not want to hinder any development in Ethiopia, but not on the expense of Egyptian lives and Sudanese lives. So actually, President Sisi wants to reach a legal and binding agreement on the filling and operation of the dam, because you will find seasons of floods and seasons of drought, and you need to have an agreement. So
yes, indeed.
Yes.
Let me take here our guest over the phone, Ambassador Mohamed Shazly, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good evening to you, sir. Your Excellency, Mohamed Shazly. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening to you, Ambassador Shazly.
Good evening.
Yes, we're speaking here about the outcome of the President's visit to France, and what are the main points or the prior files you see of such importance that were raised during this summit?
The presidential visit to Paris was dedicated to two main topics. First of all, to support Sudan financially in a very critical juncture of its history, to relieve its debt and to help it finance the stability and the prosperity of the country. And the other topic was the African summit, also to support Africa to build a strong economy and to recover from the effects of the corona epidemic.
From your point of view, what is the most important outcome of the summit? And let me here ask you about another issue. Why was Egypt so much keen, or why was France, in fact, so much keen to invite...
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Right. So I was asking, why what is the significance of such a visit by President Sisi and his keenness to attend such an important summit here?
France recognizes that Egypt is the cornerstone of Africa, and that and also recognizes the very importance of Egypt to establish also a strong relationship with Sudan. And I think at the present juncture of time, most of the powers are very eager to establish themselves in Africa because of the Africa's natural resources at a time when the Europeans and the Americans feel threatened by the involvement of China and India in Africa and how this can affect their ability to reach the natural resources. Africa, also Sudan, is a pivotal country because it is one of the largest countries in Africa. It is very rich in resources, and the stability of Sudan plays a very important part in the stability of the whole continent of Africa.
Right. Let me here take your reading to the President's meeting with world leaders, and how would such a sidelines meeting be of great beneficial for Egypt to make the world aware of what's or the developments or the scene at large?
The fringe benefits of attending a summit is that you have the opportunity to meet many leaders on the spot. The president, had meetings with leaders of Sudan. He had the meetings with several African leaders. He had a meeting, I think, with the Prime Minister of Portugal. So this, if you are in a summit where there is such a big gathering of leaders, you concentrate first of all about the topic of the conference, and then you discuss bilateral relations with other leaders. In addition to that, there was also a meeting with the Dassault company, which is one of the leading manufacturers of fighter aircrafts. So that also has a significance at a time when we are relying on French, the aircraft, the Refaat and the Mirage, and so this also, it is one of the side benefits of the summit. You are not only dealing with political affairs, but you are also dealing with economical affairs and with military affairs at the same time.
Right, Ambassador Mohamed Shazly, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much for being with us over the phone.
Our pleasure was all mine.
Thank you so much. And before we continue on with our discussion, let's first have this second report, and we'll come back for more discussion.